Magandang hapon sa inyo lahat. Dr. Cortez ito. Sa ating lesson now for the subject technology and teaching and learning. We are now in lesson number 13, city policies and safety issues in education. And today is Sunday, our synchronous lesson. And first off, I'm going to lay down the topics. Ito yung ating pag-usapan ngayon. First lesson, first topic, the ICT policies in education. And also giving here the learning outcomes objective. Number 1, identify the key ICT policies that govern the use, technology in education, full national and global levels. Mayroong mga global policies, meron ding specific sa Philippine setting, and apply ICT policies in classroom or schools setting for safe, legal, and ethical use digital tools, and demonstrate safe online practices, including managing passwords, protecting personal data, using security software. And number 4, show responsibility and accountability in the use of ICT educational context. Ating mga learning outcomes, how does it enhance education in the Philippines? So we're going to explore and improve learning experience. Sa Philippine setting kasi, Philippine ICT education policies driven by DepEd, collaboration with the ICT. Ang bilhin ng mga programs sa sample DepEd computerization program, yung program para sa mga teachers, the Digital Rise program, and of course the aim of this are to equip ng mga schools, teachers with technology. Sa mga teachers naman, to equip them with digital literacy. Ito yung program ng DepEd. Yung mga key initiatives dito na binigyan ng DepEd, example, yung RISE, focus on building ICT infrastructure, provide ng online learning platforms like the DepEd Commons. Mga teachers dito, you are familiar with DepEd Commons, mga database ng mga learning materials, and also developing interactive content by the Open Content in Education Initiative. And siyempre, yung technology yung ginagamit natin, should ensure responsible technology. Hindi lang basta-basta technology, but ensure natin na na-address mga challenges or issues, problems like the digital divide. Ang ginagawa ng DepEd, integrate yung ICT into curriculum, mga schools. And they also support remote learning through programs like the Basic Education Information or the BAIS. And they also promoting blended learning environment. Yan ang background ng ginagawang ICT technology sa ICT policies na ginagawa ng DepEd. And may mga key ICT policies ang programs na ginagawa. Sample dito, key national ICT policies globally, global setting. Ito yung ginagawa. Meron namang mga policies na talagang sa Pilipinas lang ginagawa. But globally, in common na ginagawa ng mga schools is promote digital literacy in schools. That is common, And of course, pag we can't do the digital literacy pag walang mga ginagawang infrastructure, pag wala naman talaga yung mga gamit, equipment na hindi magagamit sa connectivity. So we can do policy number 8, letter A, di ba? And Since na naman yung pandemic, we are also encouraging the online learning platforms from different setting, different LMS na ginagamit, iba-iba, no? But mayroong common na ginagamit. Example, yung Moodle, common sa mga DepEd. And another one policy na global is there should be support sa mga teachers in training and ICT. Mga teachers na hindi naman lahat ay well-equipped pagdating sa digital literacy. Especially mga medyo may adult na, mga veteran teachers na. So there should be support for them sa training. So, tulad sa DepEd, may ginagawa silang training for this one. Yung mga global perspective. Now, sa DepEd, meron sila ditong tulad nung kanina sa common, no? Department of Education. I got this from the website, from the news of DepEd. This was published in Manila Bulletin in July 9, 2025. Yan. Yung paggamit ng DepEd Common. Ayan. And another one, meron ako ditong ito naman yung sa RISE program na ginagamit ng DepEd. Dito, DepEd highlights Digital RISE program as key player in addressing challenges in education quality para ma-improve yung teachers capability. And meron silang ginagawa dito, RISE program. Itong RISE na to, RIS, it highlights digital transformation education, magamit ng mga LMS, partnership with companies like Microsoft and Google to deliver software and content. Yan yung program ng DepEd na RISE program. And meron ding dinevelop yung DepEd to guide the integration of technology in schools. Mga technologies are now integrated in classroom curriculum, teacher training, and school management. So, complete school training, classroom management, school management, curriculum development, itong ginagawa ng DepEd in compliance with the program. And ito naman sa ICT policies in Philippine education, exploring key national policies, their goals, implementation strategies. So sample ng mga ginagawa ng DepEd dito. Yung sa kayong mga policy, for example, may 5 themes example, infrastructure. Policies of the DepEd focus on providing hardware, software, and telecommunications facilities to support learning technologies. And pag meron kang ginagawa, medyo feature development, and what are being done here includes faculty development plans and training programs to equip teachers. Mga pwedeng gamitin ICT, integration skills, and paggawa ng content. Mga resources, example, involves digital libraries and online repositories like the DepEd Commons. Meron ding data management, utilizing like the BEIS na binanggit ko kanina to collect and manage educational data. Now, pag meron mga ginagawa, meron din mga challenges pagdating sa DepEd ICT implementation. For example, what some of the issues, challenges pagdating sa ICT policies, yung implementation ng gaps. So bakit nagkaroon ng gaps? Kaya mayroon challenges, common naman sa implementing policies. Example, sa mga rural areas, underserved areas, mahirap talaga pag gano'n, di ba? Kasi siyempre walang masyadong mga facilities, infrastructure. So, mahirap yung digital transformation. So, that is some of the challenges. Another one, challenge implementing ICT policies. Efforts continue to bridge the gap between areas with reliable internet access and those without. So, kahit meron daw mga infrastructure, yung ibang lugar walang internet. Yung iba naman ay meron. Yan. So, there is the assurance na equitable dapat, di ba? Equitable access to ICT resources. Another challenge, implementing the ICT policies. Yung teacher capacity. Kasi kahit daw may continuous support, mga teachers, dapat ay tuloy-tuloy yan. It is not enough na mayroong training. Dapat yung support year-round, support sa funds, facilities. Yung training dapat tuloy-tuloy eh. Kasi ang training isang beses lang, tapos after 5 years wala na naman. So, hindi ma-achieve yung ICT goal. Another gap. Yan. So, we have those gap. Siyempre, mga learners din, no? Hindi naman ng learners ay pare-pareho. So, kahit itong teacher ay may proper training, proper support. Dali naman sa mga learning students natin, sila naman yung merong under capacity to learn. So, hindi naman lahat ay magaling or hilig pag-aaral ng or sa use ng technology. Hindi naman lahat ng learners ay ganun. So, meron pa rin kulang. Now, what are the legal, bakit may mga, kailangan natin yung mga example sa safety, importance of safety naman tayo. Safety is physical, psychological, pwede na siyang cyber security. So, what importance ng safety sa mga learners natin, sa mga schools, academy? Firstly, meron tayong legal frameworks about safety. Example, the Data Privacy Act of 2012. This law protects personal data within information and communication systems, especially sa lahat ng sa isang school setup. Meron tayong Cyber Crime Prevention, for example, of 2012. Ito naman yung address legal issues concerning online interaction ng mga learners natin and the internet in the Philippines. Meron pa rin tayong computer usage codes of conduct contract. Meron pa tayong DepEd email policy. DepEd email policy, for example, encourage the use of official DepEd email. Sa mga teachers using official DepEd emails, accounts for all official communications sa loob ng school or labas, basta official communication, rules on acceptable use and prohibited content sa mga DepEd. Yung mga legal frameworks na ating ginagawa. Now, may safety na physical. Isang common, di ba? First aid kit dapat meron. Essential for responding to emergencies sa loob ng classroom. Kaya sa university, meron ganito eh. Kahit nga sa mga laboratory sa isang university, example, computer laboratory, may first aid kit sa loob. In-house for mga basic education. Dapat meron talagang cabinet. And fire drill is also being done sa mga schools ko. Lahat ng schools ko na pinapasukan will have the regular fire drill sa kahit sanay ng university students, high school. Once in a while talagang required the seminar muna about the fire drill, seminar about fire safety, then may fire drill. Then sa baba merong training, example how to use properly mga fire extinguisher. Kasama sa mga drills na aking naranasan. And pag sa mga basic ed naman, may playground safety, regular inspection, maintenance, secure play environment for children. Tulad sa isang school dito sa atin, sa BMC. Sa loob merong playground eh. Kaya sa BMC merong basic education, preschool, elementary, and junior high school. So meron talaga sa sa loob. And safe siya kasi yung kanyang ground hindi sa semento eh. So kahit malaglag bumagsak ang estudyante, siya carpet grass, artificial carpet grass ang ginagamit. So safe sa mga students, plus the usual na pagpasok doon sa school, they will scan their ID. And so meaning nasa loob siya. I don't know if it is sent to the parents na isang estudyante mo nakapasok na sa loob. Okay, so that is the initial for safety. Okay, and next one for safety, according to global setting to. This highlights the need for improved safety measures in education. 15% classrooms reporting accidents across the country. 15%. Sa Pilipinas, sabi na sa the Philippines, lately, maraming mga accidents late na nangyari sa school setting sa Pilipinas. Meron yung lalaki, estudyante, binaril yung kanyang ex-girlfriend yata. Meron naman, bandang south, yung isang estudyante, binaril yung kanyang teacher kasi binagsak daw siya. Kaya katakot ang magbagsak, estudyante. And the other one, 60%, schools with comprehensive safety plans in place. Hindi pa rin pala talaga 100% sa lahat ng schools may mga comprehensive safety plans. It's only 60%. Pinapakita na ito, the portion of schools, parang 6 out of 10, ay they are prioritizing safety planning for students. 6 out of 10 kasi 60% eh. So hindi lahat. Okay, what will happen to the other 40%, di ba? O di naman sa 15%, what is the mean of 15%? There is the need for improved safety measures in education. Mga pagkukulang. kulang, no? Okay, so kung babalikan ko yung for example, sa key national ICT policies, just want to add more. By the way, this came from Department of Education. Ang aking source dito, it came from Department of Education, Philippines. Example, sa key national ICT policies, promotes digital literacy in school. So what is being done by DepEd to promote digital literacy? DepEd daw kasi, it promote this literacy through curriculum updates. Palagi nag-updates ang curriculum, integrating digital skills like word processing, programming, Excel, hindi mala ng Microsoft Excel eh. Kahit mga estudyante kong high school, hindi pa rin lahat ay marunong mag-Microsoft Excel. Meron silang computerization program. This program, it provides schools with ICT equipment, partnership with Microsoft, Google, Khan Academy for resources and training. Tapos meron sa mga RISE program for teachers and learners. May digital competencies. The goal of this program by DepEd is to aim for nationwide transformation, digital transformation, and interconnectivity, like the DepEd DigEd 2028. Ang ginagawa ng DepEd for Policy A, promoting digital literacy in school. Then yung pangalawa naman, how DepEd enhances infrastructure for connectivity. So this also came from the DepEd website. The DepEd and the DICT, they are improving effort to achieve full internet connectivity in all public schools nationwide by the end of 2025. So September na ngayon, Sabihin December 2025, lahat ng public schools nationwide ay full internet connected na. December 2025. The purpose of this one is to aim to bridge the digital divide kasi digital divide may mga schools na hindi connected, may mga schools na connected, but by the end of 2025, lahat sila ay interconnected na. Mas maganda quality of education, di ba? Pag ganun, improve access to online learning. Yung mga connected online, they have access to DepEd Commons, internet resources. Yung mga hindi connected, wala. That is digital divide. But DepEd and DICT are improving this. Kaya nga, by 2025 December, lahat sila ay connected na. At ang latest, this was announced by DepEd and DICT in July 9. DICT is intensifying efforts to connect all public schools to the internet by the end of 2025. Ambitious na. Kasi kung kaya nila to by the end of 2025. Ayan. Sana ay ma-achieve nila to. Sa mga private schools dapat ganun din Okay, yung pangatlong policy ng ICT. Encourage online learning platforms. So what are being done by DepEd to address this one? This one is achieved to the online learning platforms like binanggit ko kanina ng DepEd Commons. DepEd Commons is an online learning delivery platform. It was developed for public. Pwede rin, kasi nasa internet siya, so pwedeng public ang gumamit, private public students, and private students. Online based sa alternative learning modalities. Mga gusto mag-aral ng online modalities. So, the purpose, beneficial to sa mga learners natin. Kahit merong community quarantine, started doon na pandemic, no? Sa pandemic kasi, siyempre walang face-to-face. So, they created the DepEd Commons as alternative. Okay, so, policy na letter D, supports teacher training in ICT. So, how DepEd supports teacher training in ICT? I got this also from website. For policy letter D, supporting teacher training. Kasi sabi natin kahit may infrastructure, kahit may connectivity, kung yung teacher hindi naman masyadong sanay sa technology, so there should be a training. And this one is being done by DepEd. According to the report now presented by ICT Director Abraham Abanirul, ito yung sa RISE program na ginagawa, RISE na ginagawa ng DepEd. Meron siyang tatlong component na pag sinabi nating training for RISE. The first component ay yung digital literacy, where the K-12 curriculum is updated to include productivity. Sa first phase, training sa productivity tools like word processing, spreadsheets, Microsoft Excel, presentation for grade 4 to grade 6 na mga learners. Now, grade 7 learners naman daw, they'll have basic programming. So, pag grade 4 to 5, ang training sa kanila, word processing, spreadsheet, presentation. So, parang Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and PowerPoint. So, grade 7 naman daw, ang training sa kanila ay yung basic programming skill subject. Sa grade 8 to 10, multimedia concepts as example, video editing and graphics design. Yan, no? Yung second component, ito ay para sa mga teachers na. Yung first component para sa mga estudyante, no? Depending on anong grade sila. Grade 4 to 6, basic computer. Grade 7, programming. Grade 8 to 10, video editing and graphic designing. The second component, para sa mga teachers naman to. DepEd aims to provide teachers with equipment. Sana to guys sa RISE to yung program ng DICT ni RISE program, RISE. The first component was for the student. The second component ay para sa mga teachers. The second component daw kasi, the ICT assisted teaching. The DepEd aims to provide mga teachers ng equipment, software content, skills for their daily classroom teaching. The second phase ng RISE also envisions providing laptops, smart TVs, and lapel speakers to each teacher and classroom. Ngayon kasi kanya-kanyang kanya-kanyang bili. Sa isang school kanya-kanyang dala. I bring my own lapel, I bring my own laptop, I bring my own projector. Lahat equipment dala-dala ko So wala pang binibigay. The last component of RISE, the ICT Assisted Learning for Learners component of the program aims to grant access naman. Grant access dun sa DepEd Learning Management System and Synchronous Blended Learning. So pag sinamarize natin, ang phase 1 ng RISE program are for the student. Phase 2 are training and equipment for the teachers. And the last phase or the phase 3, assistance for accessibility to the learning management system ng DepEd. Ayan, those are the key national ICT policies na ginagawa ng DepEd. So, balikan natin yung sa safety. Importance of safety. So, importance, siyempre, pag may isip tayo, it ensures a safe learning environment, diba? That is crucial for student success, Kasi kahit magaling na estudyante, hindi naman safe environment, nabubuli siya. Hindi na mapasok yan, diba? Hindi na mag-aaral, ipalipat-lipat siya. So, yung learning, napuputol. Kaya, pag safe ang isang environment, siyempre, promoting engagement, promoting confidence. It also allows the student to thrive in academically. Isang safe, socially, Hindi lang kasi Pag safe ang isang environment sa school, academic, gumaganda yung kanyang performance. Socially, gumaganda yung kanyang performance. Yan, kasi dapat, whole, what we call this one? Holistic. Dapat ang isang estudyante ay academically good, social, tapos emotional. Hindi maganda yung matalino nga, pero nasasuffer deep inside emotionally. Kasi nabubuli. O walang masyadong kaibigan, magaling. Kaya lang, palagi nag-iisa. Mahina ka ng social. Kasi nga, may intimidation siguro. Or nabubuli. Okay, so, let's move this slide. Ayan, ginagawa, physical safety. And we have the statistics are earlier, Psychological. After the physical safety, students should also be safe psychologically. Creating a nurturing environment for emotional well-being in education. I read an article online just recently. Ito yung ginagawa ng DepEd anti-bullying guidelines. Sa DepEd kasi, meron sang bagong rules, IRR, when it comes to the Anti-Bullying Act. By the way, guys, meron tayong Anti-Bullying Act, That is Republic Act 10627 or the Anti-Bullying Act of 2013. Yan. So, may bagong new implementing rules na pinirmahan yung DepEd in compliance or in addition to Republic Act 10627. So, parang yung RA 10627 dated 2013, the Anti-Bullying Act, was overhauled or they added some rules para madagdagan. Parang in-expand nila yung They expanded the definition of bullying. Dati kasi, di ba, pag sinabing bullying, parang physical lang. Ngayon, they broadened yung definition niya. And it also included in the new IRR ng Anti-Bullying Act, yung pag-handle ng mga cases ng anti-bullying, strict sanctions for non-compliance, direct addressing bullying in schools. Yan ang bagong news, no, about Anti-Bullying Act of 2013 in providing psychological safety sa mga learners natin. And psychological safety in education, best practices. In addition to ginawa ng I have data retrieved Philippine setting, Philippine perspective, Philippine context. Sabi kasi daw ng PISA. PISA is the Program for International Student Assessment. PISA. So meron siyang report na in the Philippines daw, there should be a high an urgency. Bakit yung DepEd bakit yung Anti-Bullying Act of 2013 was overhauled or revised? Kasi nga, based daw sa report ng PISA, they highlighted na merong urgency to reform the act, Anti-Bullying Act. The report said 43% of girls and 53% of boys in the Philippines experience bullying multiple times a month. Ulitin ko ha. Sa Pilipinas daw, 43% ng mga girls, learners na, and 53% of boys in the Philippines, they experience bullying. Maraming beses sa loob ng isang buwan. 43 and 53. Ang average daw kasi, global, is only 20%. Isa atin, 43% and 53%. Masyadong mataas kaysa dun sa global average. And, so why do we need psychological safety in education? Ano mga best practices na pwedeng gawin? Example, open communication. I have attended mga seminars sa university. Mga university students daw. Yung open communication na dapat mayroon silang pinagsasabihan na sila ay nabubuli. Kaya meron tayong safety dapat in education Promote inclusivity to ensure everyone feels welcome. Address bullying promptly. May sanctions na ngayon sa mga schools, private schools or government, publics or private or public, na pag hindi sila nag-act promptly sa bullying complaints, may sanction na sa kanila. Ito yung sa bagong overhauled na RA or Anti-Bullying Act of 2013. Pakinig daw sa mga lang. So, dahil sila somebody na pagsusumbungan, at dapat nakikinig, di ba? Kasi sa kong school, sa kong university, they created this program para sa organization ng mga students, voluntarily, they created this one. Ang aim was to listen para po may mga students na may depression, mental disturbance or depression or bullying. Pero sila pagsusumbungan. Kasi the school kasi discovered na mayroong guidance. Of course, mayroong guidance na. Nang estudyante kasi they don't want to go to the guidance office. Kasi, siyempre, record, may interview. So, parang natatakot sila pag ganun. Pero pag sa mga kapwa nila estudyante sila magsusumbong, mas pwede pa nilang gawin yun. Kaya nga the school created this group na mga estudyante lang yung mga kasama doon that they can listen to victims or students who experience anti-bullying or depression. Ayan, no? I don't know if the school has continued this organization kasi wala na ako dun sa school Okay, so let's move this slide. So, di ba meron tayong physical safety, psychological, meron tayong digital safety. Okay. Additional nga pala dun sa binanggit ko kanina. Di ba yung average sa Pilipinas ng bullying mas mataas sa global average? Kaya nga sinabi nila, ang Pilipinas daw is now the bullying capital of the world. Nanguna at least, kasi nga, the studies, ng global studies, they found out that the Filipino students, they felt unsafe and lonely in schools. Sa Pilipinas, marami mga estudyante coming from the lower income class of the country. So, yung socioeconomic background, parang less emotional support. Kaya nga, mas maraming nabubuli. Isa pang study ng De La Salle University dated 2024, this study found out that students who witness or experience bullying incidents can become mistrustful. Ang hindi maganda, no? Even if the students did not experience bullying, nakita niya lang na may binubully, may effect sa kanya na she will now be less trusting sa mga classmates kasi nakita niya na may binubully. Ay hindi masyadong magandang effect ng walang safety protocols. Ayan. Kaya ngayon ginawa nga nila, 'di ba? They expanded the definition, yung scope. Hindi lang to physical and verbal bullying. Dati kasi physical and verbal ang bullying definition. Ngayon, we expanded. Ayan. On the part of DepEd now will be closely monitoring yung mga ginagawang anti-bullying efforts ng mga schools. Parang sabi nga, they will keep now a central record of bullying reports to help improve policies. Yan ang mga dagdag dun sa batas. Meron ng database of reports of anti-bullying. Sa DepEd yan, sa DepEd. Another one being done by DepEd. Pag yung school, pag yung teacher, ang hindi ka agad na report yung anti-bullying, hindi na-report, hindi na-resolve. Ayan, kasi depende sa level ng bullying pag minor lang naman yan, o di sa school lang, sa teacher lang i-report. Pero pag yung mga severe cases ng bullying, o kasama na ba din sa principal, parents, and law enforcement. So, depende sa level of severity. Dapat ay nire-report. Okay? So, there's now strengthened sanctions for non-compliance. Isang teacher hindi nakapag-report, hindi na-resolve, meron ng sanction. Ganun din sa mga private school. Accountable na rin sila ngayon. Kahit pag din nag-report, zero reporting. Ayan. Hindi masyadong maganda. Baka naman hindi na-report. Di ba? Private schools naman, non-compliant personnel, they will be facing disciplinary actions, administrative proceedings. Okay. So, those are the reasons bakit nga hindi na physical abuse ang tinututukan, hindi na verbal abuse ang tinututukan. Kasi nga meron ng digital safety. You can be bullied online. May estudyante ako sa isang school She filed a case against the person na nagpapakalat. Parang she went to yung severity kasi matindi na no? Di ba sabi ko kanina, ang bullying depende sa severity. Pag di masyadong severe, sa teacher ang sinusumbong. Pero kung masyadong severe, yung sakit sa estudyante kung masyadong severe, so parang doon na sa pumunta sa law enforcement agency. And how do we prevent digital bullying or enforcing digital safety? Sa school, sa BMC, meron kayong kanya-kanyang email address issued by the university, by the school. Privacy setting, cybersecurity training. Hindi naman lahat ay magaling sa cybersecurity. Kasi ang cybersecurity training sa Pilipinas hindi pa ganun kaganda. So meron pa ring time na nakakalusot kasi pinag-aaralan cybersecurity training. May course, may program talaga para dyan. Samples lang to ng timeline of safety measures. Okay, ito naman guys, yung sa timeline, timeline of safety measure. Ibig sabihin, pag yung school nyo ay gagawa ng ICT policies, safety measures, ito yung pwedeng gawin. Example, first year, you conduct a thorough safety audit of all facilities, na lahat ng ICT facilities. Then second year, develop a comprehensive safety plan for the institution, then provide training for all staff. So, inuuna pala yung mag-provide ng safety plan. Mas inuuna yung safety audit ng lahat ng facilities. Then after providing training, yung mga students naman ang i-train natin through workshops about safety practices. And lastly, implementation on monitoring. So, implementation, it is not enough na we just implement. Kung mo naman to sa mga organizations natin na pag nag-implement ka, you monitor and evaluate yung mga safety measures. Kasi meron tayong controlling. Pag nagplano ka, next you will organize. Next, yung mga teachers, then you will direct them. Ang last, controlling. That is the flow of managing anything that you will be managing. You start with planning and you end with monitoring or controlling. So, ganun din sa safety measures na inyong ilalatag sa mga schools. And ito na mga safety issues in Philippine education, Philippine setting. I have here an article. Ang title ng article is Pinoy Youth in Worse Mental Shape Today. Nationwide, according to a survey. That is according to a survey, no? Pinoy Youth in Worse Mental Shape Today. So, sabihin mga youth ngayon ay mas malala pa sila mentally today compared sa mga previous years, according to a survey. This one is a survey from the UP University of the Philippines Population Institute. Survey nila to. Sabi ng survey, close to 1 out of 5 Filipino youth na age 15 to 24 have considered ending their lives. Close to 1 in 5, that is 20%. 20%, 1 out of 5 Filipino youth age 15 to 24 have considered committing suicide. This according to the 2021 survey by the UP Population Institute. And according to the same survey, the survey found out that percentage of youth who often felt depressive symptoms, nakakaranas ng depression, ay tumaas noong 2013 hanggang 2021 ay tumaas yung mga youth na nakaranas ng depression. Ang reason, they felt loneliness, they felt sadness, they felt being disliked by other people. Yung mga reasons almost doubled from 2013 to 2021. And more about the survey, in 2013, more than 574 or 3% of Filipino youth tried in their ending their lives. 3%. In 2013, 3% of Filipino youth tried ending their lives. In 2021, ito yung alarming eh. In 2021, yung percent ay tumaas sa 7.5%. Ang hindi maganda, dun sa mga nag-tried committing suicide, 6 out of 10 ay hindi nagsabi, hindi sila nagsabi kahit kanino. They did not reach out to anyone about it. 6 out of 10 ay hindi kinukwento na sila pala ay nakaranas ng ganung mga symptoms. Oh, that is part of part of safety issues, physical. Sa Pilipinas, Philippine setting. Safety issues in Philippine education. Basahin natin. Understanding safety in school is crucial for creating a conducive learning environment. Not only physical, but psychological. Hindi conducive pag mayroon kang iniisip na paglabas ko, mayroon bubugin ako Di ba? You have seen those videos sa YouTube. May mga case na ganito na inaabangan sa labas yung isang estudyante. So instead na ang iniisip niya ay mag-aaral lang mabuti, iniisip niya paano paglabasan. Alarming na. And infrastructure risk, Philippine setting, natural disasters preparedness for schools in the Philippines, hindi pa rin safe. In the Philippines, typhoon pose significant threats to schools na titigil yung pag-aaral. So there should be something to be done. Schools must implement safety drills, protocols, and ensure student safety during those events. Ayan, so merong fire drills, meron ng earthquake drills. Minsan pinapagsabay-sabay na nila tayo sa mga schools para isang drill na lang, fire safety drills and earthquake safety drills. Ginagawa naman ito madalas regularly. These drills and schools are crucial for student safety in earthquake-prone region. Pero sa Metro Manila, ginagawa na rin natin to. Hindi lang sa mga earthquake-prone regions. Sample, evacuation procedure, their ability to respond efficiently, mawala yung panic nila, improve survival rates. And psychological safety, Philippine setting. Yung una kasi kanang dinidiscuss natin guys, those are global setting. But in this last few slides, we have been talking about the safety setting, Philippine context. Mental health, addressing stress and anxiety in students. Students in the Philippines face significant mental health challenges. Alala ko dati sa Japan mga estudyante they are napaka-competitive. Ang dami ng ginagawa sa loob ng klase. Tapos pag-uwi, meron pa sila mga after class school or homeschooling. So parang laki ng presyo. Sa Pilipinas, kahit walang masyadong ganoon, still pressured pa rin yung mga estudyante. Ang ginagawa ko, pag nagpapa-activity ako, hindi yung sunod-sunod na sa every other week ako nagpapa-activity. Yung assignment bang ginagawa online. Pag hindi sila masyadong ma-pressure, there should be support system. Dito sa atin, sa BMC, meron ditong support system Sabihin, pag may mga students na nahirapan, hindi nakapag-exam, or pala-absent, yung mga academically poor mga students. Sa BMC, meron tayong consultancy. Ibig pagkatapos ng isang major exam, wala munang klase. We call that the consultation time, wherein students can consult the professor how to improve the grades, anong pwedeng gawin, mga hindi nakapag-submit. Ako ang ginagawa ko, have you noticed, no? To ease pressure ng estudyante. Yung aking deadline, although I have deadlines, mga activities, but have you noticed, pag may gusto magpa-open, reopen, doc, hindi ko nakalimutan kung i-submit, nire-reopen ko pa rin yan. Kahit sa undergrad, sa mga high school students ko, ino-open ko rin yan pag di sila nakapag-submit, ay reopen the link ng submission. Right? It means storbo or abalay, no? Kasi, example, 10 estudyante, nalit mag-submit. Di 10 estudyante mag-message sa'yo. So, reopen the link. So, reopen ka ng reopen. So, may support system na ginagawa para sa mga estudyante. Mental health. Sa atin, sa BMC, palaging may seminars about mental health sa mga high school students, mga undergrad students. Regularly yan, no, na ginagawa. Mga seminars online in support of the students. Yung study kanina that was done by, yung sinasabing mga suicide rate kanina na 1 out of 10 committed suicide, tried to committed suicide, then 6 out of 10 hindi nagkakwento sa mga parents na meron silang problem na ganun. 6 out of 10 is alarming, you know? Hindi na siya nagsasabi na meron silang depression. 6 out of 10. And that was in accordance, according to the study done by University of the Philippines Population Institute. Hindi lang sa news, fake news, no? That was a survey done. Di ba survey pa kanina, in 2013, 3.5% ang nakaranas ng depression. But in 2021, it goes up to 7.5%. That is according to the UP Population Institute. So, that was a survey. Philippine setting, Philippine context. Digital safety, cyberbullying, awareness, online privacy, protecting students' digital footprint. Yan, para hindi mabully, no? Yung footprint. Kaya nga, we cannot blame the students na yung kanilang mga Facebook profile ay naka-private. Di ba? Dati walang ganun sa Facebook, di ba? Na nakalock ang profile mo, kaya they are now locking their profile. Kasi meron na nga kasi mga cyberbullying, protecting their privacy. Dati, di ba, nalalaman mo saan pumunta yung isang tao, anong kinakain niya. Kasi nakapost lahat sa Facebook niya. Ngayon, nakalock na siya. Because of online privacy concern. Protecting students' digital footprint. In the Philippine context, students share anything personal info sa online. Lahat. Nakain na nga lang, di ba? Sinishare pa online. Saan sa pumunta. Parang minsan nag-live sila, no? Nandito ako sa BGC. Saturday evening. Alam na lang kung saan pumunta, no? So parang ang tawag natin dito, meron sa stalker. Kasi nga, naka-post online eh. If that happens, naka-post ka, kaya ang iba nakalock yung example, it results to vulnerability, increased vulnerability ng estudyante, vulnerability of data breaches. So, schools must implement privacy policies, no, sa mga estudyante. Example, educate the students about safeguarding their info, ensuring secure digital learning environment, di ba? Yung isa naman, responsible usage naman. Promoting ethical online behavior. Dito naman, we can teach the students about responsible internet use. Kasi we know that internet is crucial in combating, preventing cyberbullying, fostering a safe online community. So, ang ginagawa ng mga schools ngayon, they provide resources and support system to help students navigate digital challenges. Ang policy, they are now promoting or establishing policy na promoting respectful interaction online. Dati nga sa isang klase dalawang estudyante nag-aaway. Nag-away din sa MS team meeting namin. So the teacher should promote respectful interaction sa mga online classes natin. Ito yung mga real life examples on safety issues. School infrastructure in many regions is not earthquake resistant. Madaling diba? As demonstrated by the 2019 earthquake in Mindanao, which caused significant damage and disruption. The other one, schools are implementing bullying prevention programs such as the Bully Free Philippines initiative. It promotes awareness and training for students and teachers in various institutions. May mga estudyante hindi nagsusumbong, especially pag yung binubula ay medyo mas lower grade, lower years, natatakot magsumbong Ang gagawin, lilipat na ng school. Ayaw nang pumasok kasi nabubuli. Natakot magsumbong. So there should be a facility or program or protocol na alam ng estudyante dapat magsumbong at kung saan magsusumbong sa loob ng isang schools. The last case, the disaster response capabilities of schools were highlighted during the Typhoon Haiyan, showcasing the need for comprehensive emergency plans and community support system. Yan, mga samples ng mga real-life situations na walang safety protocols or programs or policies. Gipan tayo sa teacher well-being. What is being done? Also, we have facilities. We are training the students. We are protecting the students. We are teaching the students. Important din guys, na yung mga teachers, mga educators are also well taken care of by the school. And what are being done by the CHED for this one? I have here a order, DepEd order, dated 2024. For the benefit for the welfare of the teachers, they have this order immediate removal of administrative tasks of public school teachers. In the past kasi, di ba, ang daming trabaho ng teachers gumagawa for election, ang daming task, daming paperworks na ginagawa. So you can imagine yung lifestyle teacher, parang wala na siyang work-life balance kasi pagdating sa bahay parang gumagawa pa rin siya, parang deprive siya ng work-life balance na pinopromote. And in response, DepEd laid down this order. Very short. The Department of Education believes that the core of quality basic education is a vibrant and quality teaching workforce. Under the Matatag agenda, the department is committed to enhancing the delivery of quality basic education while promoting teacher quality and teacher welfare. In this regard, the department issues the enclosed guidelines on the immediate removal of paperwork, administrative tasks of public school teachers. So parang, I can imagine, ang mga teachers ngayon ay turo na lang. Yung paperworks, admin jobs, hindi na sa kanila. Kundi, teach and go. Turo na lang sila. Hindi tulad dati maraming paperworks na ginagawa. Parang, aside from teaching, marami silang ginagawa. And now, we're happy na mga teachers now are being taken well care of, at least, the DepEd. Okay, so, safety issues pa rin. Schools must prioritize robust infrastructure to withstand natural disasters, ensuring students and staff can learn in a secured environment. Sa bullying naman, comprehensive training programs for teachers and staff are essential to equip them with skills to recognize and address bullying and mental health issues. Community involvement fosters a supportive network that enhances safety awareness, promoting collaborative efforts between schools, families, and local organizations. Yan ang ginagawa. Yung dapat gawin to address safety issues sa basic education, Philippines education setting. And I know that is my last slide. And hopefully I have shared something to you guys. And with that one, I'm going to end my presentation. And before I go, pwede ba mag-request na pa-subscribe naman sa aking munting channel and pa-share na rin itong video para iba yung makapanood din. Bye everyone!